We are honored to be joined now by Dr. Alejandro Giménez-Santana, director of the Newark Public Safety Collaborative and assistant professor of professional practice at the Rutgers School of Criminal Justice. Good to have you with us, Doctor.
Thank you for having me, Steve. It's my pleasure to be here.
Tell everyone what the collaborative is and why it matters now more than ever as we tape midsummer 2021 with crime rising in urban communities all across the nation.
So, Steve, the NPSC was created in 2018 before the movement that we know today as reimagining public safety. I agree with you. Crime is rising in some cities across the U.S. Fortunately, in the city of Newark, we've seen a different trend, and that trend has been different since both from the beginning of the pandemic, throughout the pandemic, and now in 2021. We are seeing a slight increase now in violent crime, but throughout 2020, when violent crime was in the rise in other large American cities, what we saw in the city of Newark was actually that violent crime was not spiking, it was even going down. And in regards to property crime, the reduction was even more significant. The reason,
why do you think that is, Doctor? Sorry for interrupting. Why? And we had former Public Safety Director Anthony Ambrose on many times. We've spoken to Mayor Baraka about this. Why do you think Newark, I mean, just across the river, you look at what's going on in Washington Square Park as we speak right now, and in other places across the nation. What makes Newark different?
So I believe in Newark, we're seeing a symbiosis of interests that are coming together, from City Hall to the police department, the public safety unit, the university, other anchor institutions, community groups. There's a good symbiosis in terms of what can be done to improve public safety in the city of Newark. So you see leadership coming together with community groups, and you see the police department being extremely proactive about thinking out of the box of what can we do to improve public safety in the city of Newark. And I think that we are seeing that type of leadership really playing out. And we are seeing through crime statistics that the city of Newark is an exception across the nation when it comes to the increase in crime.
By the way, this program is being produced. We talk about higher ed partners. We're producing in collaboration with Rutgers, the State University of New Jersey, and also Rutgers, Newark. But I'm curious about this. So if Newark is doing, and Newark is doing better in terms of particularly violent crime rates, then why is Newark and what is going on in Newark? Why is it, and I'm not saying it's simple, but in Baltimore and Los Angeles and Chicago and Detroit, why is it not the national model?
Mm-hmm. So that's what we are right now advocating for here at the NPSC, the initiative that I'm directing at the School of Criminal Justice and Rutgers Newark. What we are advocating is for co-production. It's a new model. It's different from traditional community policing models of the past, which have existed since the 70s. And the idea is through data-informed community engagement, which is the way we call this technique, how can we empower the community to work alongside the police? And here there's no rankings. It's not the police who's directing the conversation. It's not the police who's talking to the community. No. How can they become partners, equal partners in the fight for public safety? Because in the end, it's a shared mission for all stakeholders in the city to come together. So we believe that through data, we can make decisions that are transparent, democratic. We can show how the police can work alongside the community. And we can actually encourage the community groups to take action, because through access to data, they can, for the first time, I believe, see that they can play a role in issues like homelessness, in issues like mental health problems, increasing awareness of certain problems. And that is something that the police sees with good eyes, because the police also has problems that they cannot solve. And the community has the tools and they have the skill set to deal with some of these problems. And that's why I believe that here we're in a perfect symbiosis between both groups. Yeah.
So, but I want to follow up on this.
Mm-hmm.
We respect and appreciate the positive things going on in Newark. Not perfect, but much better than most. But Doctor, would you agree that on the part of a significant number of folks, particularly in urban areas, but not exclusively, that there is an anti-police sentiment, that police, many of them feel under siege. Many of them feel that they can't do their job to protect those disproportionately Black and brown in urban communities. That they're frankly, forget about just defunding the police, but that the police are somehow the enemy. That can't be a solution.
So as you very well explained, even in the city of Newark, right now, let's remember Newark is under consent decree because
I mean, the federal government came in because Newark had such a terrible track record of disproportionately with black and brown individuals. They were just the number of them that were arrested for no reason, the crimes that were not being committed, pulled over, all kinds of stuff. So the federal government came in and said, cut this garbage out. We're going to monitor you. Pick it up from there.
Exactly. So as you explained very well, the city of Newark is under consent decree because of those reasons, and that's why the police department had to change. And that change, has gone through years now. They had to improve the way they police the community. They had to improve the way they collaborate with the community. They have to be more data-driven, which is something that wasn't the case.
But I really, in the time we have, I want you to deal with the other question of so many who are watching right now. I don't even know if it's so many, but many police officers who are friends of mine personally, say we can't do our job. We are under siege, under attack. We're perceived as the enemy. And for what happened with George Floyd, with the horrific Derek Chauvin and the murder on camera speaks for itself. But there are a whole bunch of cops who feel like they are paying the price for that again and again and again, which is not good for the people they're trying to protect.
Exactly. And I agree with you 100%. I talk both with the police and with the community. And I feel that resentment on the side, of course, of the police, because they feel that they're also being blamed for something that happened in other places. But I also think that it's important that we look into how police in the streets, how the way they interact with the community. And there's also a need for restoration, a need for more social justice. And I think that in Newark, we are seeing those things. We are seeing those things because at the leadership level, you see how the mayor is asking for more involvement of the community, how the community is giving feedback to the police. And what I think is very, very important, and it's something I've noticed, is the police is extremely proactive at listening. They want to listen from the community. They want to learn what they're doing wrong.
Is Newark the anomaly? I'm not trying to be negative here, but my question is Newark with Mayor Baraka and the police department, nothing's perfect, but again, seeming like a very collaborative relationship, it seems like the anomaly.
And I agree with you. I mean, I'm talking from the perspective of Newark because it's where our initiative is and where I'm right now. But I definitely think, of course, that there must be efforts in other places. But the city of Newark, what I'm seeing is this symbiosis between the different agents, the different stakeholders, walking on the same direction. When the mayor is talking about we need to be more proactive in community-driven solutions for public safety, when the police is open about it and they explain that they are collaborating more, I think that there's, in general, a sense of we want to get there and we know that we need to do it together. So I agree with you that in the city of Newark, what we are seeing is that symbiosis of different parties coming together because they all have a shared role, which is to improve public safety. And the city of Newark, I feel that we need to understand that it's a city that right now is transforming, and it's a city that in the future, by improving public safety, we might see a communities thriving where they haven't been thriving over the last 10 years. And that's something that I've seen happening myself over the last 10 years living here. So I'm very excited to see what are the next steps in this process.
Professor, I promise this will not be the last conversation, not even close, because it's not you check off the box, hey, we did something on urban crime and police reform. So much work needs to be done. Thank you, Professor. We appreciate it, and we look forward to future conversations. All the best to you and the family at Rutgers Newark.
Thank you so much, Steven. Thank you for having me.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation. Funding has been provided by the Turrell Fund, supporting Reimagine Childcare, Rutgers University, Newark, the Fidelco Group, Bank of America, RWJ Barnabas Health, Johnson & Johnson, the Northward Center, United Airlines, and by the Adler Aphasia Center. Promotional support provided by AM 970 The Answer, and by NorthJersey.com and Local IQ, part of the USA Today network.
Hi, I'm Abby. You might see me as an ordinary person, but I've been living with a brain injury since 2018. Opportunity Project gave me hope, and I've gained confidence through job skill training and helping my family. Despite my challenges with memory, I see a possibility to keep improving.
If you have a brain injury, you don't have to face your road to recovery alone. Learn more about Opportunity Project and its partnership with Children's Specialized Hospital.